Hey guys, Jimmy here from Postblast, and today we're talking magnet fishing. I've been down the rabbit hole of guys who are on the lookout for old military dumping grounds so they can extract the sweet unexploded ordnance from the murky depths. This definitely isn't safe, and I want to spread some awareness of the dangers of unexploded ordnance, more commonly known as UXO. Enjoy! These guys are out at
Michigan City, Indiana.
They are on the hunt for UXO in the vicinity of an old ammunition plant.
But we did have a rainstorm not that long ago, like a day or two ago, so hopefully it stirred up the mud and revealed some special historical stuff for us. Yeah.
I really don't have a problem with people who incidentally find UXO while magnet fishing, but it's dangerous to go hunting for it. You'll see just how many rounds they pull out of the river as the video goes on.
He started throwing the magnet out, and I see something he's gonna like.
Oh wow, some big bullets.
Yeah, it's a big bullet. Turn it on the other side. We got another one. We got a 20 millimeter round right there.
Wow.
Just the tip.
Yeah. This is the back end. That's the back end.
No, that's the tip.
That's the back.
No,
that's where the ring would be.
The ring's right there, but there's a hole in the shell.
Yeah, there is.
I take it you guys.
That one's really nice because
that's a super pristine one.
Well, you can see, and then it's blue. It's a training.
Yeah.
Some of the first things we see are 20 millimeter rounds, which are most commonly fired out of aircraft autocannons. Depending on the model, these can either be plain steel, but can also be filled with high explosives or an incendiary mixture to puncture aircraft fuel tanks and make them catch fire. It's some stuff you definitely don't want to handle if you don't have to. Notice how one guy says it's safe because it's colored blue, and that means training. For example, blue usually means training, red usually means incendiary, and black usually means armor piercing. But paint is only one of the many different characteristics we use to identify UXO. It's unreliable as a primary identifier because it can fade to other colors if exposed to the elements for a long time. Plus, color codes have changed over time. Take a look at this color chart. It turns out that the US used to make a 20 millimeter round that was painted blue, but this one was full of a high explosive called pentolite. It just goes to show you that having only a little bit of knowledge can put you in danger when dealing with UXO.
So here's a closer look at that round. All I did is I used the magnet and I hit it against the barrel and I was able to get the round.
Yeah, it's generally frowned upon to strike UXO with a piece of metal. Don't do that.
Hey, I got my first one of the day, and then Anthony got a really nice one to restore.
FBI, open up!
So not only are these guys hunting for UXO, they are planning to keep what they find. That's not good.
Get over here, Anthony.
It should have like a thing on it to go.
Is that a mortar tip? No, it's not. It's an artillery tip.
Yeah, it would have a spike that would go into it.
Okay.
Yeah, boy, out me. Yeah, boy.
That's not a tip. It's a fuse. Stop violating the fuse with your finger.
Rod.
Yeah, I have one.
Yeah, that thing's probably, I want to say 60.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
It's pretty big, yeah. Well, it could be up to a 60 if it continues to extend. That's a big old round right there.
So that isn't a full round as he keeps calling it. This over here is an era-correct 60 millimeter mortar, which would use a much smaller fuse than what he's holding. It looks similar to a projectile fuse, as shown here.
That's definitely a 30 mil right there. Holy crap, dude. You got a 30 mil right there. It's a big old round. These aren't like super magnetic either, surprisingly. If you see right there, you can definitely tell there's a brass ring, the percussion ring and everything. It's a really light 30 mil. Holy crap. It's probably drilled out at the bottom. Can't wait to clean these up.
It is alarming that this round is less magnetic than the others, and that he remarks on how light it is. Training ammunition in this caliber is usually solid steel, which would make this round heavy and highly magnetic. Lacking these characteristics could mean that this is a fully assembled high explosive round like the one in this picture. You may have also noticed that none of these rounds are attached to the cartridge case, which is a bad thing since it means it may have been fired. Ordnance is usually considered armed if it's been fired, which means that if these things are roughly handled, they just may detonate. Of course, the only way to know for sure is to take an x-ray of the round and see what's inside.
Hey, there we go, another 20 right there. That one's even hollowed out for us.
They keep saying that the hole in the base plate means that it's been hollowed out. That hole is supposed to be there on many different versions of 20 millimeter rounds, and it's where the tracer is installed. Take a look at this picture. The red space at the bottom of some of these rounds is where the tracer element is installed. Tracers burn after the round is fired and help show where the rounds are going. You may have seen videos of these streaking through the air, and they kind of look like lasers. So yeah, not a hole drilled to make this thing hollowed out.
Looks like we got a 30? Yeah, it's a 30 right there, no head. It's the shell. That's pretty cool, how the shell is just that thick and everything. Now, maybe not, maybe it is to a 20. It's a really, really small shell. No, it's definitely a shell, but I don't know what to.
This is just a 30mm round that is missing its fuse and the explosive filler is no longer present. I can't say whether it was never filled or that the explosives dissolved over time after being in the river. What I can say is that it's definitely not a cartridge case for a 20mm like our guy here is thinking.
This is a prime example of decommissioned.
Yep.
Drilled and everything.
Dude, you got at least like
Some of them are
here.
decommissioned. Some of them are like, they're not, like, it's weird. Some have primer, some are flat on the bottom, some got drill holes in the bottom.
This dude's confidence is probably the most dangerous thing in the video. He still thinks that the tracer hole is evidence that it's been demilitarized. Even trained professionals approach UXO like this with caution.
Yeah, we got a big old motor too. Oh, there is a big old round. Look at that. It's a 37 mil right there.
20.
That's a round, right? Doesn't look like a pipe fitting that I've ever seen.
Definitely looks like a round, yeah. That would be
looks
just
like off a mortar.
That would just be the tip, and that would have a little head on it. And then,
you sure it's not a mortar piece and this is the fins in the back and it's a small one?
I don't think so. I mean, it's
yeah, because the
possible.
mortar would be more curved back this way.
This one is a little difficult to identify, but he may be on the right track thinking it's a 37mm. This picture does look similar with a double-banded rotating band. It is definitely not a mortar though.
With twinsies.
Yeah, look what he found. Look what I found. It's a big old round right there. Touch tips.
Dude, don't touch the tips of two 30mm rounds like that. By all evidence, these are the most likely to be real explosive rounds, and these guys are just laughing about it. It blows my mind on how little they are taking this seriously. If just one of those rounds goes off, it could kill them both, and would definitely take a hand off too.
Yeah, that's definitely a really weird
one. If these were alive, like if they had the whole thing intact, these would be some big rounds.
Yeah, I wonder how a shelf got fit onto that end right there. That's definitely unique right there.
Yeah, setting UXO down as hard as that is considered rough handling. Don't do that.
It's another 30 mil right there. And we did get a, oh, that's a clean 20 right there. And we got a blue one. Oh wow, it's a rounded one too. It's a 37 then. That's different than the one over here.
That's the short one.
Yeah, look at that. They're different.
Oh my god! Wow!
That's all the rounds I've found so far. This is crazy. All right, so I switched to Anthony's magnet. He said he can't find anything with it. Then we just got a big old round right there. There's the shell to a 20.
That's the first cartridge case I've seen in this whole video.
Oh, it's a cannonball. I got one around. Oh, it's like an egg.
Yeah, it's probably been shot at something. There's one was like had even the line on it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that could be even older because it's not perfectly rounded.
Well, some of them have even the line. Around
Don't
it.
beat on it. Oh, boom.
This is the first time I've heard good advice in this video, but it's troubling that he thinks that any of this stuff could explode and still pull it out of the river.
Fair.
Yeah, but what's that right here though? Is that
Build
just
up.
rust?
Looks
Yeah.
like build up. Felt like build up.
Yeah.
Yeah, yours isn't perfect either though.
No.
That's what makes me think they're older.
They're older.
Like early 1900s or late 1800s.
I'd say like Civil War.
Some Civil War cannonballs actually had black powder and simple fuses installed in them. EOD still get calls to this day to deal with them whenever they're found. You still have to be careful with black powder though, since it can become more sensitive after it's soaked and allowed to dry.
Money. Round.
Holy crap! Holy crap! That thing's huge!
What style is that?
That looks like a freaking tank round.
Dude, it might be. It's hollow though. You see it's decommissioned.
Yeah, that's definitely a 75. Holy crap!
Oh, it's freaking nastiness.
Dude, it tried to squirt on you.
But you can see it's decommissioned.
What? What the fuck?
Crap. That thing's giant!
That's like one of the biggest ones I think we've ever found. Hey, I told you, a matter of
There
time.
you go. It takes
Heck yeah.
time.
That is not proof of it being decommissioned. That is a 75mm projectile, and it looks kind of like a high explosive anti-tank round at that. Those types of rounds have their fuses installed in the base of the round since their function necessitates the detonation begin at the rear of the round. Just because there isn't a fuse installed, it doesn't mean that this thing is safe to handle. Like black powder, many high explosives can become more sensitive and unpredictable when exposed to water and the elements. They should have gently lowered this thing back into the water and called 911. I do believe they called the bomb squad for this round in another video, but only after pulling it out of the river and carrying it around a bunch. At the end of the day, nobody should be pulling UXO out of bodies of water like this. The guy who posted this video is actually on Reddit, where he said that all of this was inert, but I would still like to see the x-rays before I believe that. This is dangerous, full stop. He openly says that he's handled over 60 rounds that could have been live, but he keeps going back and pulling these things out of the water again and again. If you find a site like this, you should get a hold of your governor's office and seek out the EPA. Every one of these rounds is federal property, and UXO that's no longer on a federal installation is considered to be hazardous materials. The EPA will come and clean the site up since it's a hazard to public health. I plan on covering more videos like this in the future, so if you found any of this interesting, consider dropping a like and hitting the subscribe button. If you have any questions about my observations, go ahead and leave them in the comment section below, and I'd be more than happy to answer them. I'm passionate about safety and awareness for this kind of stuff, so don't be like these guys and mess around with UXO. If you ever see anything like this, don't touch it and just call 911 to get the bomb squad out there. Nobody wants to lose a limb or their life over something that they just stumbled upon. In the meantime, make good life choices, and don't go picking stuff up off the ground.